here. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. And don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. Now, I've been studying a lot of different types of Tantra and learning just so much about it, and it got my mind racing, so I really wanted to speak about this one subject. In one book, it speaks about how Shiva said, "A man addicted to the worldly pleasures of life, yet boasts about the Brahman knowledge." And they were talking about that this type of man is to be shunned. It just reminded me how we are in Kali Yuga, because a man addicted to the worldly pleasures ends up being almost the majority of people. Now, it reminded me of people such as Osho, who had 96 Rolls Royces and always wanted more, but boasts about Brahman knowledge. Shiva would say, that is incorrect, that should be shunned. And that is very true, because you can't say that you have this worldly knowledge and still be addicted to all these things, because then you're still an ego. Think about all the world leaders. There's a lot of fake gurus that push this materialism, that say we're supposed to have both, an equal balance within the physical and the spiritual, which is true. But if you look at the siddhas, which are very spiritual beings who live in the material world, who teach that, they are not materialistic. They honor the material world for it is the Shawtee energy, but they aren't run by it. And you don't see them boasting about anything they have. They will never do that. And I thought that was so important for people to know. There's astrologers, there's people who claim they're occultists and things like that, who use this kind of knowledge, but yet are very attached. Some who post pictures of themselves almost naked and call themselves tantrics. That's being attached to the worldly pleasures. You're attached to that feedback. You want that feedback from people. You're attached to your physical body. You think that that's your power. So don't get misled by certain things, because I've been misled by a lot of people, and I'm not here to lead you either. You lead yourself. The guru is actually within you. Your higher self is your guru. I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but I've realized this more and more as I awaken, how much we are attached to things. And I had the pleasure of giving up all my material possessions and learning this. And this isn't the first time that that's happened, but this is the first time that I've learned how those things are not important. When we look at the Patal Lok, which is the Ashura realm of the demons, where the demons live in the underworld, which is supposed to be located under the earth, the demon realm is full of beauty. It's full of gold and jewels and beautiful people. It's not a hell-like realm that were portrayed in modern society, where people are dying and getting burnt, and people are dying because the Ashuras, they eat humans, but it is a realm where indulgence and hunger never ends. It's being greedy. It's always needing more and more because it's never satisfied. And that's why it becomes a hell realm, an underworld, because you have so much attachment to these things. That's why Shiva says that you can't be addicted to the worldly pleasures and have Brahman knowledge, because you would actually be an asura. You would be in the demon realm. And the demons need to feed off other things because they're always hungry. The demon realm is beautiful, filled with beautiful people, which reminds me so much of places like Dubai, which is so luxurious, so beautiful. But then there's this undercurrent of human trafficking, of laborers and sex trafficking. If you think about Hollywood, how everything seems so beautiful, the richest people in the world, the most famous, and it looks like they have everything, but there's this undercurrent of the occult, of these asuras, of these demons that are running it, and of the same subjects I talked about in Dubai. So I think we need to be more conscious and aware that the demons and the hell realm and the realm that we don't want to be in is actually the opposite of what we think. It may present itself as beautiful, and it may present itself as all-knowing and having everything that you ever desired materially, but that's not where you want to be. It's not that you can't have material things. Yes, that will come when you aren't attached to the outcome. When you're attached to wanting the spiritual knowledge, to wanting to know who you really are, the rest will come. But chasing after things, material things, and things in this realm will never bring you enlightenment. The enlightenment will come from within. So just be cautious of those who are completely attached to the material world, because they will be devoid of the actual true knowledge. The knowledge of the Vedas is only secondary to the actual knowledge, which is immutable. And that actual knowledge comes from the guru within, which is Brahma that speaks to you, or the God sense that speaks to you, the higher self that will speak to you and give you the knowledge. In the tantric books, it teaches us that it would take us who knows how many lifetimes to read all of the Vedas and know the knowledge. The point is not to read them all, because we won't get there. The point is to go towards the deepest knowledge that you can, and then access your higher self, because then you'll get downloads of all that information and you didn't have to read it. You'll just get it. Just like Neuralink, that's actually how you work. Once you start opening up the parts of your brain that you don't use, you will now be able to download all this incredible information that you never thought possible. Those who are attached to the material realm are using that to feed their ego, which means they're in ego. And once you're in ego, you don't have access to the higher knowledge. The higher knowledge only comes once you start detaching yourself from the physical reality and going towards God, the spiritual reality. They could have this knowledge and be reading you this knowledge, but to really understand the knowledge, it comes from sitting alone by yourself and doing the spiritual practices. And there's many people who do spiritual practices, do rituals, and do mantras who don't have any connection at all as well. And that's important to know. There's a difference, because it's how you're doing it. If you're doing it with complete concentration to the God sense and living your life like that, that also means your body. There's a lot of different gurus who are overweight, and that means they're attached to the physical pleasures of life. And there's nothing wrong with being overweight. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that if you are presenting yourself as a guru and an enlightened being, you're supposed to not be attached to any of the pleasures of life or be addicted to the pleasures of life. And if you are overweight, that means that you have been indulging in the pleasures of life. As a real guru or an astrologer or a tantric, you should be using the knowledge of Ayurveda in order to balance your diet, to have a sattvic diet, so that your diet is completely clean. When you have a clean or high conscious diet, then you're able to access the higher knowledge. If your diet is tamasic or rajasic, then you are going to have a lower consciousness. That's just how it works. It's how you live your life. It's how concentrated you are when you're doing your mantras, and how you are treating others and your body and yourself, because your body is your only tool for enlightenment. It comes through the body. So if you see a guru not taking care of their body, then they are lacking the access to the other realm. That's an indication of that as well. So that's why there are a lot of false teachings and false people spreading false information, or spreading some higher knowledge mixed in with materialism. That doesn't work. You can't be in or out. You have to be 100% one way. And I'm telling you this because I take all of these things seriously, and I've seen the difference. I know what it's like to be unconscious, having these unconscious foods, and the difference between going from that to going to the conscious foods. Conscious even about how you treat people, how you speak. These types of things are very important, because even how you speak can destroy your chakras. Swearing, lying will destroy your throat chakra, and your throat chakra is very important, because once you destroy that, it goes down, destroys your heart, destroys your solar plexus, all of these things. Living with integrity is very, very important. those are just some things that I've noticed based on the teachings of the higher levels of tantric knowledge. So I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.